The time has come. It is now time. We got Matt Blais here in the studio, live at the CJSW studio. Matt is, how do I begin? Matt is a fantastic fellow. Matt is always there to help CJSW out when it needs to be helped. Matt has been on my program for Funny and Drive 2 years running now. And if you guys listen to that program, you get to hear Matt play, but you only get to hear the acoustic version of Matt, which is really, it just doesn't even compare. Although it is soulful and fantastic in its own right, does not compare to the live rendition and the little ditties that Matt and his band are able to pull off here. So you guys are gonna get to hear that for yourselves. Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Now that you guys are here in the studio, Matt, you got an album coming out on Saturday, February 9th at the Republic.
I sure do.
Tickets
it's gonna be quite the party.
Tickets are 20 bones, and they come with a new CD, The Heartbeat.
Yeah, the new CD for free at the door for everybody who comes.
Why don't we hear a couple songs at that new album?
All right, we're gonna play one for you now. That's on that record. It's called Guilty Heart.
A constant struggle between actions and thoughts. So I put myself through hell, because the worst thing one can get is exactly what one wants. Oh, every moment my mind is changing, rearranged by these flickering lights. Tonight I'll pull the truth unscathed, because there's one thing to do. I'll be sure to do it right. What I want is a sweet caress without a guilty heart. You can say life is trouble from the start, still I must confess that if this isn't love, then I don't know what is. My heart is in a war with itself. My head spins and my memories die. The only difference between my life and yours is the same perspective seen through someone else's eyes. For every mirror there is a reflection. For every win there must be an end. But would you die for confusion? Because it can't exist by living off regret. What I want is a sweet caress without a guilty heart. You can say life is trouble from the start, still I must confess that if this isn't love, then I don't know what is. A sweet caress without a guilty heart. You can say life is trouble from the start, still I must confess that if this isn't love, then I don't know what. Whoa, if this isn't love, then I don't know what. Whoa, if this isn't love, then I
Well, I just want to say a big hey to everybody out there. Thanks very much for listening. Matt Blais is my name. I'm here with my band, The Heartbeat, and we're releasing the new record, The Heartbeat, at Republic. So as Kaylin said, it's this Saturday, February 9th, so be sure to come down. We're going to do our first single off the record. We're really excited about it. It's called Runnin'.
see as her tears stream down the steering wheel. She runs away, trying to save face from all the fears that pull at her heart, that pull at her heart. So she's running, and she says goodbye, Anga. Oh, and I won't be coming back, because the stuff is too hard like a heart attack, and life's too short to live like that. Wild, wild hearts, they've got to live free, she said to me. That all that you see is nothing compared to what it could be. So she's headed out, open road. She won't stop until the heartache is gone. If it kills her, she'll drive her alive. But for tonight, she's just gotta get out of here. Goodbye, I'm gone. Oh, and I won't be coming back, because the stuff is too hard like a heart attack, and life's too short to live like that. Life's too hard like a heart attack, and life's too short to live like that.
All right, I've said it before, but if any listeners just joined us during those last two tracks, that was live. That was not a studio recording, although perfected and just beautiful in general. Matt Blais joins us here in the studios today. Matt, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm excellent. Thank you very much again for having us.
Oh, man, the pleasure is literally all mine right now. The Heartbeat comes out on Saturday, February 9th, this Saturday at the Republic.
It does. It's actually, it's a special release, February 9th, for everybody here in Calgary, for the fans who've really nurtured us and supported us since the very beginning. We're releasing the record early to those fans, those friends, the family that we have in Calgary. It's a few weeks from now, it goes out to the rest of the world. That's the international release and iTunes and everything like that. But this Saturday is the first chance that you can get to come and pick it up and hear all the songs off the record.
So you're paying it forward to the local music scene here, are you?
Well, yeah, like I said, we've had a lot of support from other bands, from industry people such as yourself and CJSW, all those people. So, you know, you got to remember your roots, and that's what this release on Saturday is about. As a big thank you, it's a great party. It's going to be a blast, but it's also a celebration of not just a new record, but Calgary's budding music scene.
So it's kind of speaking about going back to the roots kind of idea. I mentioned before how if anyone heard the Funny and Drive show or previous little open mics that you've done in the past, it really is just so dramatically different from the Heartbeat, the whole band with the Heartbeat. And I find it interesting also how you titled this new album after your band. And I was kind of curious about how you worked to capture the live sound on the album in comparison to kind of a more studio refined sound.
Well, that was actually the number one goal, because I love being on stage. The live show is where it's at for me, and the guys and I, we've done some extensive touring all over the place, and from small bars to busy clubs and all that, and we'd started to develop this feel, and the songs came in really organically and gradually, and we worked them in front of a live audience. So when it came time to record, I wanted something that would reflect the live show. The live show for me is the ultimate experience, and the CD is the bait. The CD
sure.
is what gets you there, and then when you go home and listen to it again, it's what reminds you of that experience that you had. So the combination of all those things led to me producing the record myself and just trying to get every ounce of energy that we could onto tape, onto disc.
Let's talk about you producing the album yourself. So you put out the Connection EP quite a while back, then Let It Out was your first debut full-length album, right?
Yes.
And then, so that was recorded, and you worked with Mark Howard on producing that record. Is that right as well?
Yeah, and I learned so much from Mark. He was a great inspiration, and just about capturing feel on a record. I learned a lot from him, and so when it came time for this record, I used a lot of the tools that he'd given me, a lot of the techniques about just getting that live energetic sound. So I thank Mark in these liner notes, because I wouldn't have been able to do it without him.
So while you grew from the lessons you learned from Mark, what are the main differences that you see between Let It Out and the Heartbeat?
Well, it's a little bit more of a band kind of cohesive sound. We got a little bit bigger guitars on there, and it's more of a little bit of a rock record. It's a little bit more lively. We've been playing in some of those clubs and that, and we love it when people get up on the dance floor. So even the songwriting is reflective of that.
So, keeping in the sense of that, is it? I'm just curious about when you work with an accomplished fellow like Mark Howard, and then you kind of go down it with just you and the band. What's it like when you have no one else to answer to except for the five of you in the room?
I would say there's good and bad to it in general. I would say that it's more creative for me. Like I had my hands in every part of it. I even designed the album artwork myself, just because I wanted it to be an exact reflection of what we were doing. But this record was also over a year in the making. We'd go into the studio and record something, and then I would take it home and I would listen to it for a week, and I'd bounce it around, and we'd bounce ideas off of each other and just say, well, what if we tried this? And then we'd go in 2 weeks later, try it again. If we didn't like it, we'd scrap it. So it was it was an experimental record technique-wise. It's not necessarily the most experimental record I've ever heard musically, but as for technique, we learned a lot, and we did it the hard way, which is kind of the way our entire career has been. We're the hardworking band that will we'll drive across the country and do it the hard way if we have to.
So when it comes to kind of placing constraints on your music and trying to make sure that it keeps a constant sound, or I guess whatever comes in the idea of forming a new album, do you find it when you're doing it yourself? Do you find that you place more constraints on yourself, trying to be overzealous about the idea of that, or do you just get to go completely free, and is it a liberating kind of experience as well?
I think it has to be a little bit of both. You have to, feel free enough to try something new, make a terrible mistake, have terrible disasters recorded forever. If you're not willing to do that, then you're not pushing yourself as an artist, or pushing yourself creatively. However, I'm also the kind of person that I make music that I want other people to enjoy. So I'm not just thinking about myself when I'm making a record. I'm thinking about who's going to listen to it. Will they even want to listen to it? There's lots of thought that goes into making a record. It's not always right there at the front of your brain. But as I said, it took over a year to make. So there were definitely thoughts that popped in and out.
So setting aside the journey and the structure for a moment, just talking about sound, how do you see the sound changing from Let It Out to the Heartbeat?
I would say it's a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more intense. Actually, is probably in your face. There was a lot that I wanted to say on this record, and I wasn't gonna say it casually.
Right.
So yeah, we just again tried to put all the energy that we could into it, and capture the intensity that we bring on stage. So you can imagine some sweaty rock musicians when you're listening to it, and not just kind of jazzy blues guys just sitting down. Nobody was allowed to really sit down when we were recording the record.
Right.
Everybody was like standing, and I sang the scratch vocal tracks like 40 times sometimes if we had to, just to get that live sound.
So when you're talking about the change and that kind of stuff, do you see that, moving towards a more soulful or intimate and a little bit more rockin' kind of sound, do you see that as just being your own personal growth as a musician and as a band together, or is it just solely the fact that you were able to do it yourself? You guys could kind of make your own sound as much as you wanted it to be?
Well, I would say that it definitely does reflect the change, not just in myself as musicians, or as a musician, but all of us as musicians. again, more aggressive and more lively, more explosive on stage, but also just a little bit more socially conscious. More mindful about the world in general. There's a song on the new record called "Set the City on Fire," which definitely has some political overtones that was missing from the last record.
All right, so if anyone else was listening to Freewheelin' during the Funny and Drive show, they heard you about a day before you set off on your Western Canada tour. How did it go? Let the listeners know how that... I heard you had a wicked time in Vancouver. I heard there was limos involved.
Well, the best part about being a musician is the people you meet, and whether it's Revelstoke or Vancouver or Toronto, anywhere you go, you can get yourself into a pretty awesome mindset, and that's where we were at. We had a great time on tour. When we rolled into Vancouver, we spent the whole weekend there, and we made a ton of new friends, and we partied. And I guess the last night, Kyle, who's playing drums for you here today, he wanted to celebrate, so he saw a limo drive by and he flagged him down, and we loaded up all of us and the crew and
that's the dream, I think.
A bunch of fans into the limo, and we were like driving people home, and we stopped for pizza, and because life is short, and when you get to the opportunity to party, we don't like to turn it down.
And so you're heading back out west again, and then you're going to be heading out east to Ottawa and Toronto in the next month or so. What can people expect? We got listeners out on the interwebs right now. They may be looking forward to you to come through. Is it Edston, Revelstoke, Kamloops, Picton, Ottawa, and Toronto? What can they expect to see the new Matt Blais and the Heartbeat?
Well, we're doing about 40 shows between Vancouver and Montreal.
My goodness.
So, and we're doing it all in a Dodge Caravan. So it's gonna be cozy. So people can expect us to look terrible and smell worse. No, they can expect just a rockin' show. We're the kind of band who we'd love to have a beer with you as much as we'd love to play for you. So it's gonna be a party no matter the city.
So the release is happening this Saturday at Republic. I asked you during the break there if you've had a show at Republic before, and your answer was no. So what inspired you to go to Republic for this monumentous release?
I saw a Band of Skulls play at Republic and just loved it. The sound was good, the vibe was good. It's a rock bar. There's nothing pretentious about it. People go there to have a good time and to party and chill with their friends. So that's the atmosphere that I wanted, and it's also it's a well-respected venue. So those are the kind of places that I like to play. Good sound, good party, and a really nice stage.
And it won't just be you out there. You got Trinity Bradshaw, who just recently won the AMP Rockstar Challenge, if I'm not mistaken, and as well as Danger Floyd. What's it like working with those guys, and why do you have them out for your release as well?
Well, the thing with my career is I want to be surrounded by people who I care about and people who are fun. So the Danger Floyd guys, I've known for years. We've done a handful of shows together.
Well, I think you introduced me to them as well, actually.
Yeah.
They're good folks.
Yeah, they're just good guys, and they leave it all out on the stage too. So I thought they're going to hype up the crowd. And Trinity, I just met fairly recently, and and she's super talented. She's got a great voice, so I know that she's going to start the show off with a bang.
Awesome. So the show is this Saturday, February 9th at the Republic. You can buy tickets at mattblaismusic.com, spelled MATTBLAIS. That's BLAIS music.com. Check it out. You can grab some tickets on there. You can also pre-order the album, if I'm not mistaken, up on Bandcamp. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
10 bones. It's solid deal. But come out to the show. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to do a giveaway in just a second, but I got one last question for you. It's generic and it's kind of broad. It might be difficult in general, but there's a lot of musicians out there wanting to do what you just did, what all of you guys just did, and put this music out yourself, put your own hands in every single aspect of it, and make it happen. If you could give one solid piece of advice to folks like that who want to make that happen, what would be that advice?
I would say, really just to work as hard as you can. It's not going to come easy, and every time that you get one step farther, there's 100 more obstacles. So I would say, be undaunted by those obstacles and just push through them. If you can't get into a studio or you don't have money for that, there's lots of other options to record, to work, and you can gig. I gigged 100 times before I ever even thought about going into the studio. not just one way to do things anymore. So if you work hard and you sweat a lot and bleed, if that's what it takes, then I think you'll find a way.
Awesome. Matt Blais' CD release this Saturday at the Republic. Tickets are $20 and come with a free copy of the new album, The Heartbeat. Catch Matt Blais and The Heartbeat at Republic on Saturday. We're going to give away a few packages here. We got some tickets, we got some T-shirts. Is that right, Matt?
Yeah. Tickets and a T-shirt to wear to the show.
Party on.
Show your support.
Give us a call, 403-220-3991 right now to give your chance to win a pair of tickets, as well as a shirt. You and a buddy can head on down to the Republic this Saturday. Once again, that number is 403-220-3991. Matt, why don't you play us two more, my friend?
All right. This one, we're going to do a little bit of a throwback. This will be one from the last record to give you our musical history. This one's called Oh, What Can I Do?
But I've got no eyes, 'cause my body has begun to despise my mind. The loyalty has ended. Each footstep brings me closer to you, but each phone no can I consider a breakthrough. Loyalty has ended. Oh, what can I do? Oh, what can I do? Wise man told me if you were to roll me, you'd have to push me, you couldn't throw me. Loyalty has ended. Your heart knows just as much as your lungs. Your lips will walk without the help of your tongue. Loyalty has ended. Oh, what can I do? Oh, what can I do?
Oh, Matt, give the people one more. Guys, we still have one more package to give away, 403-220-3991. Let's hear one more from Matt.
All right, we'll cut back to the new record here. This is a bluesy number, my tribute to some of the old blues guys and the harmonica legends. This one's called Goodbye Sunshine.
said stupid now, that's fitting way. I'm afraid that it's too late to change. Now the rain is pouring down, and there's a tremble to the ground. In the distance, hear the sound of trouble on the way. The echoes at the break of day, but I can feel it in my bones. I'm scared of the unknown, and that wind is blowing in a storm. Goodbye, sunshine. Goodbye, night. Goodbye, good time, baby. I can see the storm forming in your eyes. So goodbye, sunshine. What you reap is what you sow, so I think you better go back to where you were before to find out who you are. Or can we go back to the start? Too much smoke for me to see, and these mirrors, they deceive. I can't see the forest or the trees, and I don't know what to believe, but I can feel it in my bones. I'm scared of the unknown, and that wind is blowing in a storm. Goodbye, sunshine. Goodbye, night. Goodbye, good time, baby. I can see the storm coming in your eyes. So goodbye, sunshine. In my bones, scared of the unknown, and that wind is blowing in a storm. Goodbye, sunshine. Goodbye, light. Goodbye, good time, baby. I can see the storm coming in your. Goodbye, sunshine. Goodbye, light. Goodbye, good times, baby. I can see the storm coming in your eyes. So goodbye.
Matt Blais live at the CJSW studios. His CD release party is this Saturday at the Republic. Tickets are $20 and come with a free copy of the new album, The Heartbeat. Guys, thank you very much for joining us here in the studio.
Thank you very much for having us.
Coming up next, we got Scott Walker with 30th Century Man on CJSW 90.9 FM.
Regret. All I want is a sweet caress without a guilty heart. You can say life is trouble from the start, still I must confess that if this isn't love,